My name is Lucky. I am from Northeast DC, and my spirit animal is a unicorn. With like fairy wings.
Is Lucky your natural born name?
It is actually. My middle name is Lucky. It's pronounced Luki, but I'm not sure why I changed it into Lucky. Like what made me do that when I started performing in 2016. But I was like, it fits and it makes sense. It is my name, and I like it more than my first name, so I want to get them like switched. That would be great. Like my first name, then my middle name. I'd love it.
Do you define yourself as a poet, a spoken word artist, or do you not define yourself at all? How do you define yourself?
The titles of like poet and spoken word artist in a way kind of coincide, but I do feel that I am drawn more to the spoken part of poetry, because poetry can just be written, it can just be read, but it doesn't always have to be heard. So in turning it into a thing that we hear very often, that is what I would consider myself a spoken word artist.
And what inspired you to become a spoken word artist? Do you remember the moment or the events that led you down that path?
My grandmother published a book of poetry, and I was like, you could do that? Like you can write your own work and put it in a book and not even sell any. She just has this box of books with her poems in them. So I gave her $20. I was in like the 9th grade, and I was like, I want your poetry book. Like I want to see what this is like. And she, in return, gave me a journal and a pen. And she told me not to put it down because communication would be difficult. And I was like, why? Like, what do you mean? But then I understood, like, high school and then college and early adulthood, there are a lot of things just transitionally going on. So there needs to be a way for healthy release. And it's been beautiful so far.
Yeah.
It's been
What
beautiful.
was your early process like of creating versus now? Because I would imagine that it's not the same and you've evolved over time and gotten better. So
Yeah.
can you walk us through that process?
I feel like when I first started writing, poems would take me like 5 minutes. Like I could do a poem about anything, any length, super quick, like no time at all. And now, years. Poems will take me literal years. But I know it is because all of my poems are rooted in an emotion or a specific like personal experience. And until I have learned the lesson from that personal experience, I can't finish the piece of work, because it's like, for what? What does it mean when it's finished? What are people gonna get out of this when it's finished? What have I learned from this piece of art? Why are these words on this piece of paper? I don't want it to just be for like an anything kind of thing. Not that I feel like when I first started it was for anything, but I do feel like in the writing I do now is deeply rooted in a lot of things, and people get a lot more out of what I have to say and the things that I've learned and the processes I feel like I've grown through.
Are you actively thinking about the spoken word as you're going through the life experience, or is like, okay, I'm kind of on the other side of this now, let me go and finish what I was working on?
It might be like a mix of those things, because certain things spark me to say something poetically. Like, I can't even think of an example, but like Organically Beautiful, where I say, lately I've been feeling organic. I wrote that particular poem because there were all of these products out for Black women telling us what to do with our hair and what to put on our skin and how to do our nails and all of this other stuff. And it was just like, I want to be as myself and as beautiful as myself as I possibly can be without people telling me how to do that. So that came out of that particular experience. But most times it'll be I don't want to hurt over this anymore. I don't want to carry whatever heaviness this is anymore. So I got to let it go in some kind of way. In what way do I want to let it go? In what way do I actually feel about this thing? Like I have a poem where I say I held his heartbeat in my hand, swore with my right hand that I'd always lift him up, always fill his cup, that he'd never have to go thirsty. And it's based on like women in relationships, and like, I swear I'll do all of these things if you don't do this. If you don't, whatever. So, yeah, they come from anything and anywhere, but don't get finished until I am healed and processed and all the way thought out.
Yeah. Is it tough being that vulnerable and authentic? Because it's not, I mean, to a certain degree, I guess you could lie.
Of course. There's so many liars out here, so many panders.
Is it?
To all of you. It's so many people out here I know just saying things because it's getting them snaps and claps. Just pretending to be a person behind these poems because it sounds good and it feels good kind of thing. And it's cool, you know? But like, if you're not going to tell the truth, why speak it all? Why speak it all? Why write it all? If it's not going to be real. If it's not going to be real, why do it at all? And it's like, it is hard. It is very hard being that open and that vulnerable and that real with not just people, but with myself. And that's why people don't do it. Nobody wants to be real with themselves. Nobody wants to stand in the mirror and tell themselves, I have made this mistake. I have done this dumb thing, and I pray to God I don't do it again. So let me write it down. Let me tell myself I'm not going to do this no more. Let me tell myself how I'm going to start thinking. Let me tell myself how I'm going to change. Let me tell myself the perspective I'm going to have and the perspective I don't want to have anymore.
Wow.
Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
What's the difference between spoken word and rapping?
Nothing. A beat. A literal beat. And I say that minimally because that is where my poems are headed. But that's hard. Y'all, to hear a beat and to just put words in cadence on that beat and then change flows in the same beat, that is so hard. It's so hard. And past it being hard, for all of the people who can do it effortlessly, beat for beat, bar for bar, oh my God. More power to all of you beautiful people. I'm on my way.
We had somebody that I believe you know. She goes by Lady London now.
Oh my God.
She was up here. I know you remember her back when she was in the spoken word scene, and she spoke about the same thing, kind of like that transition of going from spoken word to rapping, and that's what's taken her so long. To kind of really begin. It really
like finding your footing in that sidebar. Let me just say again, I love you. Okay, I absolutely love you. Bar for bar, beat for beat, sis, you're beautiful. Okay, don't forget it. But it's a real transition, you know what I mean? And it does take time to find your footing, to find your sound, to study. Like, that is what I love about her specifically. I can hear that she is a student of the game she's playing. I can hear that she's studying writers, rappers, like literally genres of music, and putting it into her own, like, it's a beautiful thing. So in transitioning like spoken word into rap, that's what takes the time, is finding your sound and your footing and your own flow.
Let's talk about the DMV scene a little bit in regards to, let's just talk about the overall culture of spoken word in general. How do you feel about it? What are your thoughts? The community seems strong on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Is it that thing? Well, let's just, let's have you kind of give your perception on it.
DC specifically, it's love. I absolutely love it. To all of the poets in DC, like literally everybody, from pure poetry to all of the Best Boys, Nipsey's, like the love is there. And not only that, the talent is there, the support is there. In being involved in the community as long as I have, I've learned so much, grown so much, and I've got to see artists grow, like with me. Like as I'm growing, they're growing too. And then new artists are coming up after us. So it's like we feed each other in that way. Like while I have been doing this for this amount of years and you just started and you're doing this for this amount of months kind of thing, there's something we both can learn from each other, something we both can get out of this particular like artistic exchange. And I appreciate that, like being able to learn from people I am working with, basically like having positive work relationships and things like that is what I feel like DC's poetry scene has. When it comes to Baltimore, I feel like it's the same thing. Like they have a lot of positive working relationships. They have a lot of people in their city that curate events. People come out monthly, weekly to see people, to make sure that they're checking up on these people. And the kinds of events that both cities host when it comes to art is just out of this world. I love it.
Was it difficult breaking into the DMV spoken word scene, or did you just feel like they kind of embraced you immediately?
It definitely wasn't embraced. I didn't even know it existed at first. That's what's crazy. I was following a poet on Twitter. Shout out to Christian and the Underdog Academy. And he came to Pure in 2015. And I went and I was like, whoa, it's poetry in DC. That's crazy. I didn't even know this existed. And I've been going ever since. I've been literally going ever since. I've met so many people in the love. Like, it just was a huge community hug. Like, the whole time. It's been love.
Love that. So we're at the top of a new decade right now. What are some of the goals that you've set for yourself as we kind of hit this new
goals I've set for myself?
Yeah.
Finishing my book.
Okay.
Recording the poems that will be in the book because I want people to be able to hear it and not just read it. And more cities. Like, definitely more cities, financial freedom, and continued peace in my home. Because, like, this part of what I do is, like, super hectic. It's super crazy. So whenever I go home, I always want to just breathe and not have to do anything. So a goal is continued peace, financial freedom, and finished projects.
How can people support you right now? And is there anything that you can direct them to or point them to, or are those some of the things to come?
Those are some of the things to come. You can always cash at me. Lucky's Place works. If that's what you like to do. You can follow me everywhere at Lucky's Place. Email me your events and your speaking engagements so I can talk to your children and encourage them to be Black and awesome every day. You can, positive affirmations is a way you can support Lucky because my love language are words of affirmation. So if you got some nice things to say, throw them my way. I like that. It's my thing.
I love that. And then finally, if you could, because it does seem like you've come through a lot of trying and mentally challenging circumstances that you've come to the other side of. So for folks who are going through that sort of thing, if you could drop one tip or one thing that you've learned that's helped you move forward, what would it be?
Being patient with myself. Because we, as a people, will just push through everything. We will work through everything, go to school through everything, be there for other people and not for ourselves. And what I have learned is that on the days where I really can't, being patient with myself and honest with the people around me when I don't have it to give is what has helped me the most. Like, hey, today I really don't have all that you usually get from me, but this is what I do have. Hey, today I can't really do this, but I can do this. Hey, today I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to, so I'm not going to. I love you though, always. Hit me tomorrow. Don't forget. That's my biggest thing. I feel like and I don't feel like I learned that until I moved to Baltimore either. Like being patient with myself and saying to myself, I'm not going to work through this. I'm not going to push through this. I'm not going to roll over this like it didn't happen or pretend that I don't have these feelings. Hi, my name is Lucky and this is Elevate.